This is Brad.
Hey, this is Brad Williams calling.
Hey, Brad. What's good? Did the link not work for you?
So stupid question. I've got a ton of interviews that I'm doing, and I just saw this right now. Do we have an interview today?
Yeah, we do. Technically,
Okay.
do you have time this morning?
Yes. So the interview's in a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you can do it. And then how long do we have? Like, when's your next interview lined up?
We're fine in terms of that time. All right. And is it a phone or is it a?
It's a video.
Or is it a video?
Yeah, it's a video. And then we're gonna be both live on the air and then live streaming as well. And we kind of go back and forth from on air to just the stream. So it's kind of just like a fluid little 25 minutes, something like that.
All right. Give me just a couple minutes and then I'll be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Pop in whenever you're ready, and then we'll put you in the stream.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, so now I have his phone number, so I'm gonna lock that in.
So you can send him a thank you text while having a stroke.
Oh yeah, I know.
God,
I've done
that was so good.
But that's how I accumulate celebrity phone numbers. Is they'll have to call me on the backup line.
Mm-hmm.
And I got you, bitch. And just let me save that right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I get into one of those bar conversations, like who's the most famous person you have in your phone, I can scroll through. I did this once, and I called up G Love drunkenly. He didn't answer, thankfully.
Right.
But it was like in the middle of the night and completely inappropriate. Like, pretty sure I was blocked right after that as well. But it was a scenario where I was like, I got G Love and Special Sauce phone number right here. Might as well just give him a call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get back on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. If you're watching the podcast broadcast stream, you know that Brad Williams is standing by and getting ready to give us a call or jump in on the podcast broadcast stream. He's hilarious and the most notable. And I will say the most notable because there has to be others out there, but the most notable little person, stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But for the life of me, I can't think of another.
Is he the only?
He can't be.
Because I think of is it Hornswoggle from WWE, and then what's his name from Jackass? But
yeah, those are all just different professions,
right?
So, yeah, so you can't lump them in, and it's almost rude to assume that they all know each other, like they're part of a secret society.
Assumed.
You just said that.
Did not.
You didn't say in so many words. You named the two other little people that you've noticed and that you know of.
Should I add Peter Dinklage?
Is that all you got? Is that the entire list of famous little people that you know?
Well, there was also the one actress that was on American Horror Story Freak Show, but she passed.
Oh, well, too soon on that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was
passed
noticeable.
6 years ago.
Right.
Oh, she was little.
Who else?
I have no idea.
See, now I know you're racist. What about the little person that was in Bad Santa? He was in lots of movies.
Yeah.
What's his name? Because again,
he is hilarious.
All you're doing is name dropping all the white little people that you know, but you didn't name one black little person. And obviously, he's hilarious, and he's been had a very prominent career.
What's his name?
You know his name. Say it.
Do you know his name?
I know his name. I just want to. I want to see if you can guess it.
I already have admitted I don't know his name. I want to know if you know his name.
And you look it up.
I'm looking it up, but I've not got to that point on the Wikipedia page yet. I want to know if you know the name.
I'm going to tell you the name as soon as you guess. Okay, so you can go ahead and look it up and try to see what the guess. I'll tell you if we're thinking of the same person.
What was his character's name?
That. Which one in Bad Santa? I don't recall the character name. Just know that I know this guy, and honestly, every little person of color who's famous, I probably know their name. But go ahead, give me a guess of his name.
Is it Tony Cox?
That's right, Tony Cox. See, and you didn't even think of Tony Cox that entire time. Just naming all the Caucasian little people. Look at you. Tony Cox has put in a fantastic career. He was in Me, Myself, and Irene, obviously, and Bad Santa, and a bunch of other things I don't remember. But
he was in Leprechaun 2. I just couldn't remember the actor's name.
Okay, do you know who the original Leprechaun was?
No. I just remember that movie terrified me as a child.
Ah, come on. Well, he was also in Willow, the original Leprechaun. Warwick Davis.
Ah.
And you don't even remember his name because he's British. So there we go. You're biased. You didn't name any little people of color or any foreign little people. All you're doing is Anglo, never mind. Let's just keep the conversation. Joining us on the podcast stream, we got comedian Brad Williams. Good morning, Brad. How you doing? Oh, hold on. Let me turn.
I have no idea what kind of interview I just hopped in on, because I just heard Anglo little people. What the heck?
Sorry, I was yelling at Weirdo and stuff because she tried to name drop. She could only name, as far as famous little people, only Anglo-Americans. She missed out on, and I know this is a very obscure and probably abrasive way to start an interview, and I apologize, but she didn't name Tony Cox, who's a hilarious actor from Bad Santa, and he's a person of color. She didn't mention that, so
I forgot his name.
And a viral ice cream commercial that he made with me, where and some of your listeners have seen this, and maybe you guys have seen this, but there was a commercial that's a shot-for-shot remake of the "What's in the Box" scene from Seven. And and he is in it playing the Morgan Freeman part, and I, based on, of course, my looks, and playing the Brad Pitt part. And
Brad.
It's for an ice cream company, and it went viral and had like 30 million views or something like that. So, but no, Tony Cox has obviously done much better things. Sorry, I just hop on a interview and I hear Anglo little people, and I'm like, what? Like the only dwarves that Hitler would have allowed to live? Like what the heck is happening here? Like what conversation am I jumping in on? So I'm glad it's that, and not what I first thought it was.
Yes, absolutely. Now I notice we're in your man cave right now, and I've actually been seeing the videos of you kind of going viral at like Broncos games. Celebrating and like amping up the crowd. But aren't you originally born and raised in like Orange County in California?
Yes, I am an Orange County I don't know how that is, but yes, born and raised in Orange County. But my dad went to Stanford University, and he wanted us to support a football team that was led by a Stanford quarterback. So that gave us two options. That gave us John Elway with the Broncos, and that gave us Jim Plunkett with the Raiders. And because I don't have face tattoos or priors, that means that means that we went with the Denver Broncos. And once your team is your team, then they are your team. You cannot break that fandom. Ask Lions fans and how happy they are right now. So huge. Well done. I'm happy for the Lions. I think the Lions are kind of the team that all of America is rooting for right now, minus if your team is still in it. So go Lions.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for football too, and all those games, and a lot of them were very competitive. The Lions game being one of them, and of course the Chiefs and the Bills. Coming down to that, it was heartbreaking as well.
Talk about another tortured fan base. Oh my god.
I know.
You know what? So I feel the same way watching the Bills as I do when I'm out, when I'm on an airplane or in a restaurant and I see a kid screaming. Like when I see a kid screaming or throwing a tantrum or whatever, I just sit back and go, I got a good kid. I got a good kid. I'm glad. Like, yeah, my kid bugs me sometimes, but would I trade her in for anything? Absolutely not. And I've got a great kid, and that's how I feel about some watching the Buffalo Bills, where I go, man, I'm a Broncos fan, and obviously we're not going through it. We're not that good right now. But then I look at just the constant heartbreak and gut punches of some of these fan bases, and I go, you know what? 3 Super Bowls in my lifetime. I got nothing to complain about. I'm
right. I love how you numb the pain too. You're like, at least we get blown out, and then don't just like blow it at the last second.
Yeah, we lose 70-0. That's an actual stat. We just get blown out, so I can take a nap at halftime. Like that. Like I can't imagine just white knuckling it throughout the whole game, and then right at the end you get your heart ripped out. Oh my goodness. But exciting time for football. But Watch this seamless transition.
Uh-huh.
Another thing that's exciting that is happening on weekends is my tour, and I'm coming to the Tucson area coming
That's
up.
right. It's
And
going to be
I think,
Fox Theater on
yeah,
February 4th, and tickets are available at foxtheater.com. And we're very excited to welcome you to the old Pueblo. And I'm glad that you put Tucson on the list. It's a pretty massive tour that you're going on. You're loading up a lot of weekends. And is this because is your daughter now? And congratulations on being a girl dad.
thank you.
Is your daughter like a toddler now?
Yeah. Oh, she's 4, and
Okay, yeah, still in that range.
Yeah. So she's going to school and everything like that. But yeah, the iron is hot right now. So I got a strike, and I'm going to over 70 cities. And I actually am going to Tucson by mistake. I spelled Tuscany wrong, and so now I'm going. So now I'm going to Tucson. Now, of course, I like Tucson. I've been there before, and I like coming to all these different cities. And yeah, when you have a kid, the kid's got to go to college, so I got to pay for that. But although my kid is both Asian and a dwarf, so I don't think I'm going to be paying for college. I think that's going to be taken care of.
Right.
Yeah,
Nice,
we're getting a full scholarship. I'm going to have colleges knocking on my door to try to get my daughter to be on the cover of the brochure like a D1 athlete, just like Asian dwarf. Holy crap. We get all our quotas met in one kid. Done.
Yeah, covering all the demos. I know.
Yeah. Fingers crossed she's lesbian. Come on. Let's go.
That's every girl. That's every girl dad's like hope for sure. Yes.
I would so much rather deal with everything that is that than have dudes come into my door, and especially if they're. This is a whole nother topic, but this is especially if they're average sized dudes coming in. I just I'm gonna have some problems there.
You got time. She's only 4.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely, but it is a dreaded scenario that you're going to have to come across here eventually, and
I'm just hoping that by that time that she's actually like of dating age, that we're just all banging holograms, or it's like the Westworld robots, where it's like, Dad, can you like go on Amazon and order a new sex robot for me? Like, no problem. I have no issues with that. I will do that in a heartbeat over dealing with actual human beings. So I am all good about that. But yeah, doing a few dates in Arizona, doing Tucson, doing Phoenix. Really, really excited about that.
Yeah.
So with Tucson, you're doing 2 shows that night at 7 and at 10:30. Or 10:15?
Yeah.
Are you doing a kind of more of a family safe show and then kind of no holds barred, or is it just okay?
Just doubling up the ticket sales.
Yeah, there is not. I know the early one is, if it's not sold out, it's very close. So it's just that it's the fact that we sold out the first show and got really close really quickly. So we wanted more people to be able to see the show, because man. And this happens, every comedian will tell you this. Every comedian, one of our biggest pet peeves is we play a market, and then we go online and we announce new tour dates, and we get a message on social media that goes, "When are you coming to Tucson? You never come to Tucson." And it's like, I was just there. Like that drives every comedian nuts. So I'm trying to do as many shows as possible. So literally, so I don't sign on Twitter on the day after I've been to Tucson, and then I just hear everyone just be like, "When are you coming to Tucson?" Like, enough. And I'm coming there on the off week of the NFL season, so it's not Super Bowl weekend. It's not the playoffs next weekend. It's the off week. So you guys don't worry about you're going to be missing any games, missing anything like that. Just get your tickets, come out. You have no football on that Sunday, so what's better than football? Dwarf telling jokes. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fantastic show. I've seen you live at the Tempe Improv several times over the years and stuff, and you continue to kill. And a part of the comedy class of, like, we just had Bert Kreischer here at the TCC. Yeah. I know Bert's your boy. And then you are part of that LA comedy scene, right? And I know that you. Yeah, when you're working your material, you spend a lot of time at the Comedy Store. But over the past, since pandemic, you've seen, I mean, we've always had New York as a comedy scene. We've always had LA as a comedy scene, but now we've seen the uprising of Austin and a lot of people migrating to Austin.
Yeah.
Now, you have a lot of friends in that scene.
Yeah. And don't sleep on Phoenix too. Phoenix
Yeah.
Has so many clubs that are in the area that a bunch of comics moved to Phoenix too. And you know, land is a little cheaper. So you know, you can get a house out there and you can still work. And yeah, a bunch of guys moved to Austin, a bunch of guys moved to Nashville. I think, and I'm finding that it's not just the comedy industry now. Pretty much every industry during the pandemic, everyone just sat down and realized, do I really want to live here, wherever here was? For me, LA still works for me. I still like LA. And but for some people, yeah, they went up and they moved, and it's great. I think it's great that, you know, now all these people living all over the country can have little comedy hubs in whatever cities they're in. And I think it's wonderful. We're absolutely going through a comedy boom right now. Due to, like, you know, podcasts, TikTok, everyone's being exposed to stuff. Also, not a lot of comedy movies and TV shows out there, and I think people are still obviously craving comedy. Although I have been watching the new Ted that is on Peacock.
Yes.
Well done. This show.
You loving that show?
If you need a comedy fix and you're like, no, like everything is. Because I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are going to stand-up comedy right now is that everything on TV and in movies is so safe. Everyone, no one wants to offend anyone. No one wants to get rubbed the wrong way. Not Ted. Ted's going for it. So I would highly recommend that. And then highly coming out, watching some stand-up comedy, especially when I come to Tucson. And that's why the other reason why I love adding these late shows is because the first show, I'm getting into rhythm. Late show, it's like, I'm in the pocket. I know, like this is in. I'm locked in. I've got the bits out, and now, and like the late show, I always have more fun. I always have more fun in the late show. It's looser. I don't have a time constraint from the early show, because like for the early show, I'm having fun, but I'm also looking at the clock, like, if I don't get off by a certain time, that late show is not going to start till 11:30, and there are going to be some angry people. So, So yeah, I love the late show, and I'm highly advising everyone in the Tucson area, get your tickets so you can have the story the next day of a dwarf telling jokes. That story wins. I'm sorry, that story wins.
Always. It's almost a bucket list thing, but really, when it comes down to it, just a solid stand-up comedy show, you definitely deliver. You recently have a special called Starfish, which is on Veeps. You know, and then so are like, this is basically a reset and rebuild for the next comedy special on this tour, I would assume, right?
Yeah. So the new special on Veeps, if you don't know what Veeps is, it's totally fine. It's like this new kind of concert-based app. You can go. There's concerts by like Alicia Keys, Imagine Dragons, and then they got into comedy specials.
Nice.
So they got me. They got David Cross. They got Catherine Ryan. They got a bunch of great comics. And you don't have to subscribe. You can kind of pick and choose what you want. So, yeah, excited for my new special that is on Starfish. But if you watch that special, you don't have to worry about me repeating all the bits when I come to Tucson and you see me there. It's going to be a completely different hour. Thankfully, I write a lot. And I'm like, okay, because I've always said it's when people say, like, how do you write your bits? I go, it's really easy. Step 1, be a dwarf. Step 2, wait, and then just the funny stuff's gonna happen. You know, like right now, literally, it's one of the rare times in Southern California where I live where it's raining, and when I'm gonna be walking my daughter to school in a few minutes, it's just I'm just walking her to school, and she's a dwarf child, so we're just walking around these puddles. Like, one of these puddles could be the end of us. Like let's be honest. Like, if we choose one of these puddles incorrectly, it's gonna be like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, where the knight's gonna just pop up and be like, "You have chosen poorly." Like, you know, it's gonna be bad. So so our supplies walking to school today is a backpack and a life vest.
And flotation device.
So we're speaking with comedian Brad Williams here on the podcast broadcast. He has a show on February 4th, which is right around the corner. The second show tickets are available at Fox Theater. Beautiful historic theater. Excellent place to catch a comedy show. And he has, we're talking about his latest comedy special, Starfish, that's on Veeps, which is a new platform for live concerts and comedy shows. Which is all exciting stuff to be a part of. I recently saw that you've dipped your toes in the world of battle roasting.
That was, dude, I like doing things that scare me. Okay, I really do. Like, I don't want to be the guy that every day I wake up and I do the same thing in this business. I don't want to do it. So, when a comic named Joe Urell, who is in a wheelchair and has cerebral palsy, when he says, "Do you want a roast battle?" I'm like, "Hell yes. Hell yes, I want a roast battle." And it just palsy and dwarf just going at each other. This is like the handicap parking version of King Kong versus Godzilla. Like, this is like,
yes.
So the roast battle at the Comedy Store, like, there's always a good crowd, but when word got out that Joe and I were roasting each other, that room was packed because everyone's like, what are these guys gonna do?
That's a draw.
Yeah,
right.
And that's a main event right there.
Yeah, and the clips definitely went viral. And and just Joe is such a good writer, and I knew I had to bring it, and it was so much fun. How roasting is so good and so fun is because it's the best when people know that the comics actually care about each other. Like, so it's like, no, it's just fun. It's just fun. I'm not saying something to make you, drop the gloves and we start fighting after this. Although me versus Joe, that would also be a highly successful event.
Like, shut up, bud. Just take my money already. I'm there.
Yeah. Dwarf versus palsy in the Battle Dome would be amazing. But when the audience knows that the people actually do care about each other, and you can just look at the jokes as separate entities and not like you don't take them personal, that's when roasting is so much fun. And doing that was fun. Like I said, I like doing things that scare me. This week, I'm not home this week, while I'll be in Tucson February 4th at the Fox Theater. Get your tickets. This week I'm going on the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea. It's a wrestling cruise.
This is not the first time you've done this, right?
No, this is my 5th time. It's wrestling on a boat. It's heavy metal on a boat. It's comedy, but not like cruise ship comedy, like because usually when you go see a comic on a cruise ship, the early show has to be squeaky clean. And then even the late show, they're like, you can dirty it up, but they still are like, but don't too much, like not too much. Not on the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager and See. These are wrestling fans. Like, if you're not bleeding, they don't think it's a good show. So it's like, and I get to do comedy while I'm standing in a wrestling ring. Come on, man. This is the stuff that dreams are made of. And so every year on the boat, you talk about roasting. Every year on the boat, one thing I like to do is roast the wrestlers. And if you think I'm afraid of a normal audience in Phoenix or Tucson, I am terrified of roasting wrestlers, because these are not comedians, and these are not people that are used to people being made fun of, and especially guys my size at 4'4". When the War Dog Wardlow here's me do a joke about him putting syringes in his butt, he's not exactly like, hey, good joke. He's like, well, he could throw me off the boat very easily. I would have I would have no objection. I would have no way of stopping it. Like, it's really that's that razor thin fine line, and it does scare me, and that's one of the reasons why I love doing it.
Yeah, and well, it seems like a party as well. I've always wanted to check out one of Jericho's cruises. I know that you had kind of like a almost a storyline beef with Hornswoggle on one of these cruises, right? So did you get? Have you had a wrestling match with Hornswoggle?
So I didn't do a wrestling match, but man, that was so much fun. It was so much fun because when people see two dwarves together, instinctively, I think they want us to fight. Like, it's something like they just want to see it happen. They want us to turn into Highlanders. Like, there could be only one. Like they want that. and Hornswoggle and I knew that, so we were both on the boat, and at one point we passed each other. We just walking, and it was like by the pool, and this is on like my social media if you go back about a year. But we passed each other, and we just started staring at each other, and we're just like, and everyone around us started going, oh, like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then out of nowhere, Swoggle just boom, just slaps the taste out of my mouth, like hit me. And people are like, wrestling's fake. They pull those punches. He didn't pull that punch, not for one darn second. My ears were ringing. So then later in the cruise, Hornswoggle was in the ring during a match, and he was helping his guy out. He was helping his guy cheat, because that's what he does. He cheats. He's a horrible human being. And then and then I ran into the ring, and to stop him from cheating, I gave him a Stone Cold Stunner. And that boat, when you saw a dwarf give another dwarf a stunner, just exploded. And much like Hornswoggle did, he exploded from the Stone Cold Stunner. He actually lost all of his gold, very similar to when like Sonic hits a bad guy and just the rings explode everywhere. Yeah, that's what happened when I gave Swoggle the Stunner, and the place went nuts. And dude, I've gotten some good ovations in my life. I've gotten some good applauses and some good laughs. Nothing is compared to that. Nothing is compared to me giving Hornswoggle a Stone Cold Stunner on a cruise ship in the middle of the boat. That was awesome.
You gotta love that. Yeah, you gotta love that pop. Did anyone show you how to give the stunner? And did you do it like you probably no? You're just like, I'm just gonna do a stunner. I'm just gonna kick him in the gut and drop him.
I've just watched way too much. Like, I've watched way too much wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan.
Nice.
It's tough to see, but on the man cave behind me right there, that's all wrestling action figures signed by some of my favorites.
I love
Swoggle's actually up there. Swoggle is right there. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm a big wrestling fan. So yeah, I just gave the stunner, and the wrestlers didn't know that we were going to do that. And then when we got to the back, to have all the wrestlers from the cruise be like, dude, that was like, that's like, that felt so good, because I know how I feel when non-comedians try to do comedy, and it really, like, I'm not gonna say it pisses me off, but it kind of does.
Yeah,
because non-comedians thinking that this job is easy and just coming in and think that they could do it with no real training and stuff, it drives me nuts. And and I can only imagine being a pro wrestler where everyone just thinks like, yeah, you just go in there, you stomp the ground and you throw your head back like you got hit. It's easy. You know, the chairs are made of tinfoil. Like they think it's easy. And so I really appreciated them giving me props and letting me pretend to be a rock star for a second. It was amazing. It was truly awesome. And one thing I've noticed doing this cruise is pro wrestlers, comedians, rock stars, and strippers all have a very similar mentality.
Yes, all cut from the same cloth. Yes.
Yeah, we're all very similar. We all come up doing these absolute crap gigs for no money, and we do it just because we love it. We do it just because we love it. And I mean, maybe not the strippers, but we do it. but and then hopefully you get to it, and you're traveling on the road, and you're always gone. And it's that road life mentality, the gig mentality. But then hopefully you get to a point where you start being successful and you start making money at it. And then you can just look back and be like, look at us, look what we're doing. This is great. So
it's like a gift and a curse too, honestly, because you're like driven to do this, and it's not an easy life or lifestyle until you make it. But the chances of making it are so like inconceivable. It's difficult to do. So
I was thinking about this. I was on stage in San Diego a few days ago at the Balboa Theater, which holds 1,300 people. So that's that's a big audience, and we sold that thing, and we sold that thing out. And I took a moment while I was on stage where I just stopped and went, holy crap, like I did it. Like I'm here, and I started like, because can you name all the other dwarf comedians that are selling out theaters? Exactly. Like,
now, is there
I didn't have a template. I didn't have someone that I could look at and be like, I know I can do this because that person's done it. Like, you have other dwarf comedians, don't get me wrong. There's Tanya Lee Davis, who's actually been doing it way longer than me. And whenever I think I'm the first dwarf to be in a comedy club or do, like, she's done it. She's great.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And then you have another comic that's doing it right now, Nick Navicki, who is actually opening for Nate Bargatze. So he's doing like stadiums with Nate, which is so cool for him. And side note, Nick and I have known each other since we were like 7 years old. So the fact that the fact that we're both comedians and we're both successful, this is really cool. But there really isn't much of a template for little people doing this. So the fact that I get to do this, and the fact that I'm doing it at this level and doing places like the theater in Tucson, I do not take that for granted. And I also don't want it to, and I also don't want it to end. So I'm not taking it off. I'm not like, oh, I made it to the theater, so now it's easy street. No, I want to give you guys the damnedest show you've ever seen so that you leave going, well, we got to see him when he comes back. So I will absolutely do that. And I will absolutely give the people of Tucson, Phoenix, whoever sees me, just, I don't want you walking out going, well, that was a splendid night of theater. Like, I don't want you doing that. I want you walking out going, what the hell did we just see? What did we just hear? Were we allowed to laugh at that? Can I go and see my coworker the next day and we can just have a normal relationship after this? I want that to happen.
Yeah, I know. Of course, I just see the projection going and what you have been doing, putting in the time, making audiences laugh from 5 people to 500 to 1,500. That projection continues to go. So this time we're going to have 2 sold out shows at the Fox Theater, and you guys can help contribute to selling out the second show, The Late Show, at foxtheater.com to see Brad Williams live on February 4th. And then maybe next time we're moving up to the arena, because why not, right? Guys,
hey, man. I would love to. I'm seeing. It used to be there was only like one arena comic. Like maybe like 10 years ago, there was always one comic that made it to that level. Now you got like, holy crap, you got Kevin Hart, Chris.
It's all over the place.
Joe Coy, Gabriel.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you, Brad, but we are ending on the FM side. We're going to keep it going on the podcast here just for a couple minutes. You can join us with youtube.com/beefvegan. Sorry about that. Yeah, we had a hard stop at 10, but so we were on the FM side. You got a couple minutes there, but you're right. It's like you're seeing more and more. We just had Joe Coy come through, so he's doing arenas now. Like there's a lot of arena comedians, and the people are coming out to see those shows. It's got to be amazing.
Yeah, comedy is becoming an event. Like it's not just like, it's Friday night, we're bored, let's go see comedy. It's like, no, let's get a babysitter. I'm calling in sick to work the next day. Like because I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna tie one on and I'm gonna laugh my butt off. And I love that, man. I love the fact that comedy is an event and it's something that people are really cherishing and really going out to see. So it's really cool to see what comedy is right now. And the fact that, here's one thing that I want everyone to realize is that some people get very territorial with their comedians. Like, no, I'm a Shane Gillis guy. I'm a Jim Gaffigan guy. Well, I like Eliza Schlesinger. And
very tribal,
right?
Yeah, and you guys and some of the fan bases feel like they have to fight. You don't. Just find whoever you like, whoever that is. Support the heck out of them. If someone else likes a different comedian that you don't like, that's okay. They can go watch them and they can laugh their butts off, and then you can enjoy your comic. So just because you like me doesn't mean you can't like Bert Kreischer. Of course, Bert Kreischer's funny as hell. Go watch Bert Kreischer. Like you can like all these different comedians, and you can let your friends like all the different comedians, and it's just everybody's eating right now, and that's great. That's what we want.
And it's much like pro wrestling. There's a lot of similarities there. The same thing. Now, circling back on that, Weirdo and I are both wrestling marks as well. This has been a great time to be a wrestling fan. What are your what's your favorite storyline right now going into, say, WrestleMania season? And what would you like to see as the headlining matches of WrestleMania this year for their 40th WrestleMania?
I mean, as someone who was in the audience for WrestleMania when Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes, unfortunately, I would love to see them run that back. But now I feel like The Rock just put his toe in the water where we're like, oh, wait, can you get like the ultimate bloodline match where it's The Rock versus Roman? Would that be a good match? Because story-wise, it's an amazing match, but like The Rock's like 50-something, and I don't know if he's in the kind of wrestling shape that he could put on a good match. I don't know, but I don't want to doubt him. He's the freaking Rock. So he does everything to the fullest. I love that stuff. I'm also a big fan of AEW. I love that the Young Bucks just came back. Looking forward to seeing what that does. So yeah, it's a golden time. And talk about being territorial. There's some fans that are like just fans of WWE or just fans of AEW or just fans of NXT. It's like, it's wrestling. It's supposed to be fun. It's all there for your entertainment. Watch the Bloodline. CM Punk came back. Like, there's so many amazing things going on in both federations that you can just enjoy. Like, Sting is having his last run and still having good matches, which is insane.
Doing crazy bumps.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what are you doing?
He's still jumping into tables. He's 62. He's 62.
Right.
I know what my dad was doing at 62. It wasn't that.
No.
That's for darn sure. So it's just all exciting. Wrestling is supposed to be fun. Comedy is supposed to be fun. Music is fun. Like as much of it as you want. Like, you could be like, hey, if I could see 2 concerts right now, it might be Rammstein and Taylor Swift. Like, those might be the 2 concerts I would go see just because they're events. And it's like, wow, what's this thing? It's like, you can go see that. You don't just have to like one group or just one genre. Enjoy it all. It's all there for your entertainment. It's all there so people can enjoy it, so they can have fun. Find whatever it is that speaks to you in entertainment and then enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Brad, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Excited about you coming to Tucson. And now I'll let you walk your daughter to school. And I hope she has a good day at school as well. So
just put her floaties on.
Yeah, I'm putting on floaties. I'm gonna put a giant soccer flag on her back, so if she floats away, I can still find her. That's absolutely gonna happen. But guys, it's absolutely a pleasure to join you, and looking forward to seeing your fans out at the show at Tucson on February 4th. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, definitely, dude. We'll be out in full force, so we'll make sure we make the most amount of noise. We get rowdy.
Do you have names of your fans? Are they like the beef veganites or something like that? Like,
the beefers. What is some of the?
Well, it can't be the weirdos because that's me.
Yeah, they're pretty much beefers at this point. That's what the consensus is for our streamers. But I don't know about that nickname.
I want to see the beefers. I want to see the Big Bell beefers all at my show. And when I do the meet and greet, when the show is done, come up, tell me you're a beefer. I won't think you're weird. I'll know what you're talking about. And
don't forget, because you're gonna be like, oh, you just farted and you wanted to come tell me this. Yeah.
It's kind of jarring if some dude just comes up and goes, hey man, I'm a beaver. All right. Okay. No, I will remember, and I love that, man. I love when fan bases come out and support. It's great.
Absolutely. Well, we're fans of yours, so we're part of your fan base. So I wish you continue success. Looking forward to this show and then the next show when you sell out the arena, because sky's the limit, my friend. So keep up the great work, and I hope you have a good day.
Don't worry. When I sell out the arenas, I will have screens, because if a dwarf is playing an arena, you're gonna need some screens. You can't just watch this little tiny ant dancing around on stage. I'll need screens there.
All the screens, yeah.
Awesome,
that's awesome. All right,
Thank you guys so much for
everybody. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching the stream. We'll be back tomorrow.